will see. Sports Bar will be taking your calls after all these replays are done. 03717 223344 will be the number to call. You're listening to the FA Cup on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Underway on Talksport 2 right now. Wolves 0, Brentford 0. That's commentary happening right now over there. We'll keep you updated on Talksport on the scores with all the ties. Teams on their way out here at the Silver Lake Stadium, and the pyro flying high into the air, which is warming us all up. That'll defrost the pitch if there's any kind of problems. They can carry on doing that because that was really lovely. Eastleigh of the National League taking on League 2 Newport County. Winner only gets Man United at home. Updates from here to come. But let's head to Ashton Gate. West Ham won a cup last season. They want to win another one this season. Championship Bristol City are in their way. Here's your commentary team on Talksport. Former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matface.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Good evening, everyone, wherever you are up and down the country. I know that the UK has been plunged into a bit of an Arctic freeze. -6 in some places. I had a bit of a snowball fight on the way to school this morning. It's currently 0 degrees in Bristol. Real feel, -2. And Ashton Gate is the venue for an FA Cup tie where West Ham United of the Premier League are this evening. They should be in Dubai, really. A bit of warm weather training, speedos on, maybe a bit of water polo in one of the pools in a luxury 5-star hotel. I think they call that a winter break. But when is a winter break not a winter break? Well, when you fail to beat a championship team at home in the third round after taking the lead. 9 days ago, a good start wasn't backed up by a good finish, and West Ham are back in Bristol for the first time in 9 years to face a coach they know well, Liam Manning, who worked at West Ham for 4 years, and a Bristol City side determined to cause a big upset and earn a fourth-round home tie with Forest or Blackpool. I'll run through the two teams in just a moment, but there is a big tie happening over on Talksport 2 right now, and if you want to listen to it, you can by downloading our app and flicking between the two stations. The winner of Wolves against Brentford takes on West Brom away on the Sunday of the fourth round week, and at the end of the month, and Brentford have taken the lead by 1-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers at Molineux. I think everybody's got their eyes on a Black Country derby, but Nathan Collins might well have put paid to that. Certainly has given Wolves an early scare over on Talksport 2. So it's Wolves 0, Brentford 1. The two teams here, Bristol City starting with Max O'Leary in goal. The back three, Tanner, Viner and Dickey. McCrory is the right wing back, Pring the left wing back, Williams, James and Gardner-Hickman are the three-man midfield with up front Metty and Conway. Fabianski is the West Ham goalkeeper. They're all in blue tonight, royal blue actually tonight, and they'll start by shooting from left to right. Mavropanos, Zuma and Cresswell the back three, So Fowl and Emerson the wing back, So Cech and Ward-Prowse in the centre of midfield. Ben Rama and Cornet supporting Danny Ings, who hasn't scored since a goal in the Conference League against Ghent, yes, there's two Ghent sounding teams in Belgium. Ghent in April of last year, 28 games without a goal. I think he's only completed 90 minutes once this season, and that was in the League Cup. We're just about to get off and underway. That commentary on Talksport 2 continues. We'll keep you abreast of all of the action here on Talksport. Tomorrow when you wake up, Alan Brazil and Ali McCoyce will be there to peel through the back pages and discuss tonight's headline makers. Tomorrow night we've got live football from Goodison Park and from Bloomfield Road as well. The football never stops, so nor do we. This, my friends, is Talksport in the FA Cup. Former West Ham coach and player Stuart Pearce is here, and Stuart, West Ham are robbed of a few key performers tonight. So how much does that tip the table in favour of Bristol City?
Well, I think it evens the table up. I don't know whether it tips it in their favour. I think it's even Stevens personally. But the likes of Ben Rama, the likes of Cornet and Ings have got to step up to fill the void. And I've just got to mention as well, the West Ham mascot and his mother I bumped into on the way in, Adem, and wish him well tonight. So I'm sure he's had a brilliant evening being the mascot.
Yeah, and a healthy contingent of West Ham supporters have come, and they are away to our light in the Atio stand, away to our left-hand side. And Bristol City in red shirts with tiny thin white pinstripes, white shorts, attacking the goal away to our left. Big Rob Dickey tries to send one through the middle, looking for the run of Mehmeti doesn't quite find him, and it goes all the way through to Lucas Fabianski away to our left-hand side. He's in bright steward yellow tonight, Lucas Fabianski, who apparently, according to an interview I read the other day, loves a bit of chocolate. Loves chocolate. Who? Fabianski. He's right up there with you as a chocolate lover.
Oh, to be honest with you, we'll be having a bit of chocolate half-time if sales come good again, like he always does.
Well, don't let Fabianski see it. He'll probably nick it. And he's got bigger hands than us. Ball with Tanner, deep inside the Bristol City half of the field. West Ham made a really explosive start to the first game. It's a bit scrappy the start to this second game between these two. Ball out of play over on the far side and away for a throw-in after Bristol City failed to keep it in. Bristol City actually were hanging on by their fingernails. The first 5 minutes was a real barrage. They did well to stick it out actually, and then hit West Ham on the break once Paqueta, the architect of the goal, went off. There has been a goal early on down at the Silver Lake Stadium. Talksport's Alex Brooke.
And a goal for the visitors. Eastleigh 0, Newport County 1. Only 3 minutes on the clock. Aaron Wildig is the man who scored it. Rounded the goalkeeper Joe McDonnell and slotted in. A nightmare start for the non-leaguers. Eastleigh 0, Newport County 1.
Remember the winners of that play Manchester United at home in the next round of the competition. And Newport, who actually played in a replay earlier in the season. There's a chance here for West Ham to come forward with Cornet being sent through the centre, but Max O'Leary comes out and clears his lines well. It goes down the left-hand side, and then it's given away, and Fabianski is beaten. And he's round the goalkeeper here. It's picked up by Conway. It's into the centre, and he's scored. Round the goalkeeper, and the boy who scored the equaliser in the first game between the two has rounded Fabianski, who got his starting position and his judgment wrong, and slipped the ball into an empty net. It's a really good finish in the end from a tight angle, and West Ham United are behind after just 3 minutes of the game down at Ashton Gate in the FA Cup, and Tommy Conway has scored again.
Well, we've had a brilliant start to the game here. It was a through ball that Ings got after, and the goalkeeper's come out and just got there before him at one end of the pitch. It's gone up the other end. Mavropanos has left one too short for Fabianski, who undernard slightly. When he come out, I thought for all intents and purposes he was going to give a penalty away and get sent off. Conway, credit to him, stayed on his feet and a composed finish.
It's a brilliant finish actually, and it does come about from at the other end, a clearance by the goalkeeper Max O'Leary, who gets the assist for the goal, by the way, after what was a short back pass from the left-hand side by Mavropanos, cut out by Conway, who smashed the ball in from a tight angle. So that is a brilliant goal from Conway, who anticipates the fact that Mavropanos' back pass doesn't reach him, and Mavropanos makes that back pass because Max O'Leary's clearance for the goalkeeper went so far into West Ham's territory, but he misjudged it. Conway then took advantage of a misjudgment by the goalkeeper, rounded him, and it's a really good finish from a very narrow angle, Stuart.
Well, what I like about it, he stayed on his feet, didn't he? He could have played for a penalty, he could have gone down cheaply, he didn't do that. He stayed on his feet.
Here they come again, Bristol City down the left-hand side. Mehmeti skipping past the challenger Sofau, getting into the penalty area, plays the ball to the edge of the box, and it eludes everybody and goes backwards. Rob Dickey's got it. Well, Danny Ings is down inside the centre circle away to our right-hand side, and he feels like he's been crunched off the ball. There's no VAR, by the way, tonight, and the referee will have to deal with it all on his own. Darren England just goes over to check that Ings is okay. Well, should he really have stopped the game there? If one, he doesn't need physio treatment, Danny Ings, and two, if he isn't a head injury, he stopped a promising attack for it.
The answer to the question is no, he shouldn't have stopped the game. But the other side of that is, and probably because I know Danny Ings' history with his knee problems and whatever, he looked in quite serious problems there, and I can understand backing the referee up why he did stop the game.
But he's up on his feet now, Danny Ings, isn't he? And there's no problem. 6 minutes gone. Bristol City 1, West Ham United 0. Darren England to give an uncontested drop ball. Matty James plays the ball down the left-hand side. I mean, there is some complaint from Danny Ings that the tackle that he had was just a little bit over the top of the ball from, I think it was Rob Dickey who perpetrated it. We don't have the benefit of monitors here inside the stadium, so we're sort of flying a little bit blind, and it was a tackle that happened in the build-up to a move, which was leading to a promising attack for Bristol City. And the referee played on, and they have the ball once again, and they lead by a goal to nil. Live on Talksport tonight. Could we have a big upset in the FA Cup here? There's still a very long way to go, and Bristol City know that they've got a very long way to hold on. But they're playing their football tonight, and listening to Liam Manning, he was pretty forthright yesterday. We need not only to match our performance at the London Stadium, we need to exceed it if we are to get a place in round 4.
Yeah, which is fair enough. I've just had a look at the challenge that Danny Ings wasn't happy about, and I'll tell you what, there's no VAR tonight. If there was in the Premier League, Sam, that would have been touch and go for a sending off. He's put his foot on the ball, his foot's gone over the ball, and he's given him 6 of the best straight across the side of the shin.
Bit similar to the Curtis Jones one.
Very much so, yeah.
Got sent off for in
Indeed.
the game at, I think it was Tottenham, was it?
Yeah. You feel sorry for the player because I don't think there was any intent there, but where his foot ended up, if there was VAR, they would have certainly looked at it.
Corner to West Ham United, away to our right-hand side, in front of section 98, where the Bristol City vociferous fans sit. It's a skin swinger from James Ward-Prowse, and easily caught by the goalkeeper Max O'Leary, who will dispatch upfield. So we've played quite a few breathless minutes now, 7.5 minutes gone. We've had a possibility of a red card, almost a possibility of a sending off and a penalty at one end, only for Tommy Conway to keep his feet and pop a opening goal in inside 3 minutes. And they've got the ball again on that right-hand side, and they've done brilliantly to get round the edge of the penalty area. It's a brilliant run from Ross McCrory, who took the ball off the head of Aaron Cresswell, darted infield, and his shot was weak in the end, making his full debut tonight, Ross McCrory. But again, they look a little bit more eager than West Ham, and they've settled better in the game.
Well, what they've done well, Bristol City, is they've turned West Ham round on several occasions. They put the ball behind their defenders. Sometimes they've dealt with it, and on that occasion, Emerson didn't deal with it.
Emerson over on that far side, Cresswell over on that far side, Zuma playing in the centre with Mavropanos just to his right, and Sofau playing as a out-and-out right wing-back and leaving a bit of space behind him, which Mehmeti is trying to escape into now. He takes on Mavropanos, who just about squeezes it to Souček. He gets it back, and Cornet is filling in, and he guides it to his goalkeeper Fabianski from inside the 6-yard box, manages to shoot it to the halfway line. Rob Dickey gets it down. It's in towards the middle of the park, and Gardner Hickman, who gets it back into the centre circle. Matty James keeps things ticking over. Zach Viner sends it on. Barnsley 0, Carlisle 1 is the latest scoreline. Armstrong with a goal after 7 minutes. That's a surprising scoreline. If ever I saw one. Carlisle 23rd in League One. Barnsley pushing for a place in the playoffs at this moment in time. Souček has it in front of the 18-yard box. He gives it to James Ward-Prowse, and West Ham trying to come forward. Bristol City want their team to play. They want them to be brave on the ball. He knows that West Ham are going to go after his team, Liam Manning. He has been preaching all week that he doesn't want them to panic on the ball, be brave, and they certainly showed that bravery in the opening few minutes here to get the goal, which has taken them in front at Ashton Gate. The ball cleared out towards the left. Pring goes up with Mavropanos. The ball deflects and goes into the left wing position. Conway chased it. The referee eventually pulls it back for a foul by Cam Pring.
I think what Bristol have done well is they've played when they've had to and played out from the back when they've had to, but they've mixed the game up nicely. They've turned West Ham round, and they've put the ball into channels and chased causes, and that's where the goal's from.
Talksport bringing you live coverage from the FA Cup tonight. Plays it out wide, Zach Viner, the Bristol City centre half. Into midfield it goes to Matty James, a former Leicester man. Back to the edge of the D, Viner infield. Taylor Gardner Hickman then plays the ball back to McCrory, who gets dispossessed, and then Ben Rama gets his way to the edge of the penalty area, tries a little trick to go beyond the defender, and across comes Tanner and deals with a rather elaborate situation. Ben Rama guilty of taking too many touches, and the ball's out of play for a West Ham throw.
Yeah, it looked a good opportunity there. West Ham have had a couple that they've turned possession over in sort of probably about 30 odd metres out, but just managed nothing's come of it apart from a Bristol City goal.
Well, West Ham are short-staffed. They're missing Mohamed Kudus, away with Ghana, Aguerd, with Morocco, Mikel Antonio, Bowen, Paquetá, all injured. There's no rhythm about their team. They are very much cobbled together at this moment in time. They've had 10 days off. Here is Cornet chasing the ball into the right corner. He slipped as he went behind Rob Dickey. The referee saying play on. The Bristol City fans thought that was a dive by Cornet. Could have been a slip, but I'm sure there's one or two in the West Ham ranks that thought that was a little nudge from Dickey. And the ball goes back to O'Leary. They're playing out from the back to the middle, where it's picked up by Williams and tucked towards the far side. Eventually comes out towards McCrory, who tries to reach a ball which Tanner is dragging to halfway. It goes back infield, and Taylor Gardner-Hickman guides it towards Zach Viner at the heart of the defence. It remains 1-0 to Bristol City, live on Talksport. Ball picked up on the left-hand side. Good feet by McMetty to go away from Sofau. He plays it into Pring in the left-wing position. Very fluid in the way they move, Bristol City, as they come up the pitch into the left-wing position now. McMetty trying to get round Sojek, who nudges it out in the way, and it goes for a goal kick. McMetty thought that was going to go out for a corner. It didn't. It's a corner kick. It's a goal kick away to our left-hand side, so instead we'll go off to the game which is taking place in Lancashire tonight. Bolton against Premier League Luton, a goal for Talksport's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, it's Bolton 1, Luton 0, totally against the run of play here. It came after Mengi slipped in defence. Adebayo picked his pocket, drove into the box, pulled it back, and there was Dion Charles, 17th goal of the season. Bolton 1, Luton 0.
Now it's 1-0 to Bristol City here, so we have we have Bolton in front against Luton, Bristol City in front against West Ham. There must be a goal by now at St Andrews. Let's go there now. Ian Danter.
You're dead right, Sam. It's Birmingham City 0, Hull City 1. Jason Lakillo has just put Hull City ahead after what was a bright start from the host. Suddenly a ball over the top got in behind Christian Bielik. Billy Sharp onto it in a flash, held it up, and then a cross from the left-hand side, right in front of goal, touched home by Lakillo. Birmingham 0, Hull 1.
And you're not going to be able to say that name again, Dance, without thinking of Jason Derulo now. That's it. That's definitely going to be in my head every time I hear it. Here on the right-hand side, Cornet coming forward for West Ham. Into Sofau, plays it against the defender, pops back off the check and goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. West Ham United behind in the FA Cup. We've played a sum total of 14 minutes here at Ashton Gate. Jam-packed, over 22,000 inside this stadium tonight. It's freezing temperatures, but it's been a hot start to the match, and I think we're going to have a contest here.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, and if West Ham are going to get back into the game, certainly the wide strikers in Benrahma and probably more so Cornet have got to impose themselves a touch more on the game.
There's a lot of space to play in, isn't there, because of the way that Bristol City spread their formation. They've got three centre-halves, three strikers really, because Taylor Gardner-Hickman gets up and in support of Conway and McMetty, and two very wide wing-backs.
Yeah, as I say, I mean, both teams are reasonably well spread. West Ham have turned the ball over a couple of times from loose passes, but nothing's come of it. If they keep the press going hard, I think they might get other opportunities within the game, but Bristol have settled into the game. The goals give them the confidence, and they look very confident on the ball.
They do indeed. Max O'Leary's just got a ball back from McMetty, and for the midfielder who dropped very, very deep. O'Leary's clearance hits Sojek, but it's picked up in midfield by James, and then Conway's got it back to Gardner-Hickman. Now, he had the opportunity to send McCrory down the right side, but he declined that invitation, and there was a little bit of frustration. But they've got the ball now over on the right-hand side, inside West Ham territory. Bristol City coming forward. It's 1-0 to the Robins. And it goes all the way back to Tanner and then back to Viner, and they keep hold of the ball really well once again. West Ham underestimated Bristol City at the London Stadium. James Ward-Prowse admitted that this week, and he said they paid the price as a result. They can't afford to do that this evening, as McMetty runs into Vlad Sofau, stands his ground, robs the ball, moves upfield. Ings drops deep to get it, and then it isn't a great ball infield. McMetty ends up deflecting it. Souček can't reach it, and James tries to fire it forward, but it's picked off by Mavropanos. Cresswell forward, back with West Ham, far side, the left as they look at it. Into opposition territory, Benrahma goes, and then he goes backwards rather than forward. Mavropanos steps over the halfway line, right side, tries to feed Cornet, but it's pinched by Dickey, who's allowed to run to halfway. He pokes it into Gardner-Hickman, who then sends it long out towards his left-hand side, and Conway is away again. He moves up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's taking on Mavropanos. He slips it to Mehmeti, who shoots towards the far corner. It's over the top narrowly, and just wide of Fabianski's goal. And Mehmeti's effort goes over the top of the crossbar, and it's away for a goal kick away to our left. There's another goal up at Bolton. Mark Wilson.
Equaliser, Bolton 1, Luton 1. Bolton giving the ball away, edge of their own area. It found Taith Chong into the area, left foot shot past the keeper. Bolton 1, Luton 1.
Well, West Ham are lacking a few goals on the side tonight, and they could be in for a long night if they do get back into the game, because it's not very often they will score multiples with the personnel that they've got in the team. There is only 2 players in tonight's West Ham lineup with more than 2 goals to their name this season: Thomas Souček and James Ward-Prowse. The front 3 haven't got a goal between them so far this campaign, and that's because they haven't played too many minutes. But Danny Ings has been utilised as a substitute quite a lot over the course of the season. He's played 90 minutes once, and he hasn't scored since the back end of last campaign. Here is Ings trying to turn and get a shot away, and he might have a decent opportunity here. Right-footed shot, which is narrowly wide of the right-hand upright, which Max O'Leary goes sprawling towards, but it's a good yard wide.
Yeah, probably their best effort so far, West Ham. Great ball into Ings' feet, and like good strikers do, they get turned, open the goal up, and he's just pulled his shot past the goalkeeper's right-hand post.
Well, Bristol City themselves were having a little bit of a dry January up until that goal they scored after 3 minutes. The goals had dried up a little bit. They failed to score in their last 3 league matches, Birmingham, Millwall and Preston, and there have been times when Tommy Conway has looked a little bit isolated, but tonight they've got bodies in and around him a little bit more often, and they've started sprightly, and they lead by a 1-0. Elsewhere, Eastleigh 0, Newport 1. Bolton Wanderers 1, Luton 1, Birmingham 0, Hull 1 and Wolves 0, Brentford 1. All of those games in the FA Cup third round replays. Wolves-Brentford is on Talksport 2 currently. Bristol City lead, and they're coming forward again, and big Kurt Zuma's got to deal with a long raking ball over the top, which he stretches and hooks back over his head, and then Cresswell nods it back into the arms of Fabianski, who's away to our left-hand side and to relative safety.
I don't know whether it's the early goal, but this is such an open game. Both teams spreading to play, looking to play, and well, certainly I can't see this finishing 1-0, that is for sure.
Let's hope not. Because you said in the press room rather negatively that everybody in the media room was expecting a dull binary game with only 1 or 2 goals.
And that still might be the case, but I've got to say I'm eating my words at the moment, because the first 18 minutes or so, Sam, this has been a very open game with some good football. Yes. And Bristol played their part in that without a doubt.
It certainly is the case. Now, a bit of a tough nut to crack actually, for even some of the best sides in the Championship. Leeds and Leicester only beat them by the odd goal in 3. The defeat to Preston was probably their biggest sort of meh performance since October. They've got a very energetic young squad, desperate to atone for that performance and earn themselves a few headlines. They've won the ball high up on the left-hand side. Cam Pring, one of those, who has had a rather interesting 6 months and apparently was looked at by West Ham, has the ball on the left-hand side, fights his way into the box, tries to feed Matty James, away by Mavropanos. Not a great clearance. Mehmeti's got it back left side. It's picked up by Dickey, goes infield towards Williams, and Bristol City have possession once again. Far side, Gardner-Hickman into Williams, who's sandwiched between 2 blue shirts, and Emerson and Ings end up sort of dovetailing to rob him of possession, and then Ings goes down, wins a free kick, and West Ham look to play quickly.
Yeah, they've just been caught on a couple of occasions, the Bristol City players, and they've just got to be careful. If they stop that, then their game plan's been very good. It's just that give away a possession on the odd occasion.
Well, former Wolverhampton Wanderers player Nathan Collins scored the opener over on Talksport 2 for Brentford to put the Bees in front. But Nelson Semedo has just equalised for Wolves. Gary O'Neill's team back on level terms 8 minutes before half-time over on Talksport 2. Wolves 1, Brentford 1. That's the latest. Ball sent out towards this near touchline. Collected by Vlad Sofau. Infield it goes towards Maxwell Cornet. And he tries to turn under a bit of pressure from Mehmeti, and then goes backwards to Mavropanos, and then on to Zuma, who gets a little bit of attention every time he's got the ball. He then missed that pass from Cresswell, which sends Mavropanos scuttling back into a right-back position, and then with the press on, West Ham just under a little bit of pressure to get out from the back. They eventually do that by Cresswell up to Ben Rama, goes out towards the far side. Ben Rama drops deep, actually needed to spin and go the other way so that he could run in behind the Bristol City defence. They'd pushed up to halfway at that point. He didn't do so, and West Ham continue to build with James Ward-Prowse playing it out towards the left, and Cresswell, who gets up over the halfway line. He's giving it back to the former Southampton star, and then into Ben Rama, who claims that he was fouled by Ross McCrory, and the free kick goes his way. And sometimes I feel with him, he just maybe makes the wrong decision every now and again. Ben Rama drops into an inside position when he needs to stretch the play, takes 2-3 touches when one would be better.
Yeah, he's a dribbler by nature, but what you've got to do, you've got to scan and check the picture before you receive the ball. I think he's had 3 touches before he gets his head up on occasion, and that's to his detriment. Sometimes the dribbling factor should be your last option in many ways.
Free kick then, which Emerson, who's been quietly impressive over the course of the season for West Ham, and James Ward-Prowse, who definitely has been, sends the ball in towards the near post, and it's missed by the goalkeeper and Mavropanos, and sails beyond the post and out for a goal kick. But it was about as dangerous a delivery as you could possibly wedge into the box. And James Ward-Prowse, who already has crafted 10 assists this season for West Ham, has just come up with a belting delivery into the box, which just needed the merest of touches.
Well, he's put it in a great area. Soufal spun round the back. I thought maybe they were going to go long to Soufal, but that didn't happen. He's dropped it right in the box, and either the goalkeeper knew exactly it was going wide, or he didn't want to get clattered and got out of the way. You take your pick on that one. Yeah, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, Sam. We're charitable. Good goalkeeping.
Mavropanos is massive, isn't he? I wouldn't want to be clattered by him or Soufal, to be fair. 23 and a half minutes gone, and it's been a real fast start to the game. It's West Ham United behind, though, and Tommy Conway already has his 8th goal of the season. Didn't see much of the ball against Preston, but he got an early chance in this game, and he took it, and boy did he take it. It was a really good finish. Here is Ben Rama over on the far side, once again dribbling with the ball, this time going past the defender and finding the cross into the box from Emerson, who found Cornet, and actually it was a really good delivery by Emerson. That's what you can do if you get into a wide position and you centre it first time, and Cornet just couldn't quite sort his feet out. Defender did well to get in front of him, and it's behind and away for a corner.
Yeah, he did. I mean, up to now, probably the battle of the wing-backs. Bristol City have got their wing-backs further up the pitch. On that occasion, Emerson was able to get forward and beyond Ben Rama.
Here's the corner from James Ward-Prowse into the near post. Doesn't quite reach Souček. It's headed away by Williams back to the far side, and James Ward-Prowse again, and Emerson now making room for the shot. He does shoot, takes a deflection, comes back to Souček, back for the middle of the goal, and Cornet somehow conspires to miss from 4 yards out, acrobatically throwing himself into the air. A sideways volley which he didn't quite craft properly, and it goes wide of the goal. Good chance.
It certainly was a good chance. As I say, a scrappy affair to get it where it went. Souček had an effort, and then when it fell to Cornet, he was off the ground trying to pirouette and hook it in the goal and just couldn't get enough round it.
Ball cleared by O'Leary out towards the near touchline. We was looking for Cam Pring, actually, who sometimes is the ball that they search out on this near side, because he's a big fullback.
Yeah, he's quite aggressive as well, Sam, and he's been in for a couple of collisions already, one with Mavropanos, so he's not a shrinking violet.
No, I think that's one of the reasons why a couple of Premier League clubs have sort of glanced in his direction. He likes to get forward, he's a physical player and a good defender. Ball clipped long, up in towards Cornet, glanced behind by Rob Dickey. And he gets it all the way back to Max O'Leary, who bowls the ball out into Zach Viner. Viner tries to play it forward to James. He gets a little bit fortunate because it slipped past Hickman and goes out via McMetty towards the right side. That's a really good take by McCrory, but he played it behind Conway, who darted towards the inside right channel. The ball went right through the centre from McCrory. It's cut out by West Ham, but it's another well-fashioned attack from Bristol City. And you can see what they are trying to do. They look like a very well-coached side. You know, as Adrian was mentioned, they're in the bottom half of the championship, but they've got every chance of forging a campaign which could end up seeing them in the playoffs.
Yeah, certainly are. The one thing I like about them, they play when it's on to play, is sensible football. But when they get the opportunity to play forward in behind West Ham's defence, they take that opportunity.
Good game so far here at Ashton Gate in the southwest of England tonight. Wherever you are in the country, please take care travelling. If you're listening in your car tonight, watch out for very icy conditions. It's not great across the UK, and that snow that fell, especially in the north earlier on today, is going to get a lot icier over the next 2 days when the temperatures are dropping dramatically. We're off to Blackpool and Everton tomorrow. Talksport got commentary of Everton against Crystal Palace. Talksport 2, Blackpool against Nottingham Forest. Join us for that one. The ball on the far side with Ben Rama. Played left to Cresswell, then further on to Emerson, and then back to Cresswell once again. Cornet lurking with intent in the centre. Danny Ings just buzzing around on the top edge of the formation, trying to get into an advanced position. He's now out wide, nudged it back to Ben Rama. West Ham still have control of the ball, and they're waiting for a delivery to go in the box. There's 5 of them now waiting for one, but Ben Rama's got it, trying to trick his way to a crossing position. He's faced up by 2 players, including Viner. Goes back, and it's delivered into the box from Cresswell, headed away rather easily by Dickey.
Yeah, just Bristol City defended that well. Got numbers back there behind the ball. That flat back 5 ended up too easy for them.
27.5 minutes have ticked away. Wolves 1, Brentford 1 on Talksport 2. It's Birmingham 0, Hull 1, Bolton 1, Luton 1. Bristol City leading here by goals to 0, and Eastleigh are behind against Newport. The winner of that game gets Manchester United in round 4 of the FA Cup. The winner of this one has a game with either Blackpool or Nottingham Forest at home in round 4. Ball sent forward by Souček, out towards Sofau. He's made a good run, but it's going to skip off the turf, and out comes Max O'Leary. It's a good take by him, and he bowls it out towards this near side. And Mavropanos then puts it out in front of Liam Manning away to our right-hand side. In the Cup, Bristol City are competitive in each of their last 15 home ties. Only Manchester City have beaten them in an FA Cup match by more than 1 goal. So they have a history of causing a bit of a tough time for those who come to this patch. That's not a great ball by Viner, who's tried to find Gardner Hickman but only found Ben Rama, and now Emerson takes it on, plays it behind Ben Rama, who didn't get called up by Algeria for the Africa Cup of Nations. They're trying to twist and turn into a crossing position. He's sticking to his task over on the far side. There is McCrory. The ball eventually comes into the box, and Williams will head it away, and then it's launched upfield to Conway to chase with Kurt Zuma, who sort of chests the ball out towards the right, but there was no conviction in that. Conway got it for a second, and then he had to be rescued by Aaron Cresswell.
Yeah, in the end, it's that forward ball. If a Bristol City player picks the ball up and a forward pass is on, they certainly take it, but they've given the ball away cheaply on occasion and just done the same again.
Corner has fed Ings, but Zach Viner has come speeding across to slide across the greasy turf and nudge it out and away for a throw-in. And Vlad Sofau wanted to take a quick one. Didn't quite happen because Darren England spotted there was a second ball on the pitch, so it will have to be reset once again. But West Ham on the attack away to our right, trying to close the deficit because they trail by 1-0 to Tommy Conway's goal after just 3 minutes of this game. Ball tossed in by Vlad Sofau into the centre, flick on by Mavropanos, left because there's no blue shirts in the danger zone, and it's picked up by O'Leary. That's a bit of a waste really, because Mavropanos' flick on lands in the centre of the penalty area where you would expect Danny Ings to be lurking.
Sam, the throw couldn't be better, the flick on couldn't be better, the drop zone couldn't be better. And you ask the question, why were so many West Ham players ringing the box and not gambling and going beyond Mavropanos?
This will be a source of disappointment for David Moyes. McCrory's gone through the centre here to try and get on the end of a right-wing cross. He goes down on the edge of the box, wanting a free kick after a collision with Souček. The referee waves away his protest, and West Ham are on the escape again. It's an open end-to-end game at Ashton Gate on Talksport. A brilliant contest. At the moment, the Championship side, 27 places below West Ham in the pyramid, are leading the encounter by a 1-0. Ball out over on the far touchline, and it's with Emerson back in field. It goes to Ben Rama, across to Souček, and he just left of the centre circle will poke the ball into the path of Ben Rama once again. A prodded tackle by Tanner wins it back for Bristol City, and the ball ends up going all the way back to the goalkeeper Max O'Leary, and the home side have it once more. O'Leary sends it on, and Sofao, challenged by Pring, manages to head the ball away from the left wing back, but only out as far as the throw on this near touchline. So we've played half an hour or more on Talksport. And what's your assessment of the first third of the game?
I think it's probably been even Steven, I would say. Both teams have given as good as they've got. The difference being a loose pass was dealt with by O'Leary at one end of the pitch, and his clearance has ended up creating another loose pass by Mavropanos that's cost the goal. So it's all to play for. I think it's been such an open game. If Bristol City, if I got them in and was managing them, I'd say just be careful about giving possession away in that final third, because that has been, for me, West Ham's best chance of threatening the goal.
West Ham have been in really good form. Their only defeat in the last 7 came at Anfield. That was in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup, with a much-changed team a little bit like this tonight. And the only goal they've conceded since the 20th of December has gone to Tommy Conway. Both of them have gone to Tommy Conway in that first game and here in the first 3 minutes. Conway's got it again on this left-hand side, and he just had half a chance a moment ago. He looks to take on Mavropanos, who times his tackle well, puts it out for a throw-in, level with the edge of the penalty area, and Bristol City have got it again. Wherever you're listening to us tonight, thank you very much for lending us your ears. We'd like to welcome the listeners that are joining us tonight on Sirius XMFC. Sorry, it's a bit cold here. If you're listening in the United States of America, thank you very much for joining us on Sirius XMFC. The ball out towards the left-hand side by Bristol City from Zach Viner, who floats it deep into opposition territory. Cam Pring gets up, tries to head it on, and Souček beats him to it, flicks it out of play and away for another throw-in.
Yeah, what Pring's doing, and he's been cute. If he can't win the header, he certainly bodies whoever's heading it enough so the ball skews off their head and they gain a throw-in.
Back it goes to George Tanner from that throw-in, but he then plays it very quickly up to Mehmeti, and that was a tight challenge from Mavropanos. Mehmeti knew it was coming and was a little bit over-elaborate with his jump to dive. As a result, play on, said the referee. West Ham come forward. Emerson is stopped in his tracks, and a chance for them to break on the right side with McCrory. He doesn't look where he's playing the ball. He looked a little bit rusty in the early exchanges. No doubt he's a good footballer, but he hasn't played this season. It's his first start of the campaign. And although they are a big fan of his and he's a key talent, he has looked just a little bit rusty in the first half an hour of this game.
I've got to say, both teams have been a bit loose with their passing, haven't they, though, Sam, you know?
And Conway's not going to get hold of that one as he darts down the left channel, and it goes straight through to Fabianski. Wolves 1, Brentford 1 at half-time in the game at Molineux over on Talksport 2. Birmingham 0, Hull 1, Bolton 1, Luton 1, and what's happening down at Eastleigh. Here's Talksport's Alex Crook.
It's still Eastleigh 0, Newport County 1. Good response from the National League side since falling behind, but it's Newport who've come closest to adding to the scoring. Scott Bennett had a header saved at the near post, and Shane McLaughlin has fired into the goalkeeper's arms. Eastleigh 0, Newport County 1.
I wonder if it's too hot to sleep in Birmingham. What's happening in Danta?
It is Birmingham 0, Hull 1. Hull with a good chance as you come to me from Tyrell Sellers-Fleming. Hit the ball straight at John Ruddy. They're ahead through a Jason Lekilla goal on the 12th minute. Birmingham started brightly but have faded somewhat. Hull, having made 11 changes, holding the hosts off at this point. Although as a cross comes in from the right, not converted by Ramel Donovan, it's Birmingham 0, Hull 1.
Now, I've been avoiding saying it all night, but I will say it now. What's happening at the Tough Sheet Stadium. Mark Wilson.
It's still Bolton 1, Luton 1. Charles with a goal on 10 minutes to put Bolton in front. Luton equalised 5 minutes after through Chong, and Chong's had a couple of efforts. One deflected just wide from the edge of the area, the other headed off the 6-yard line. It has been all Luton. Just the odd attack. Mengier was at fault for the first Bolton goal. He slipped and he brought down Dacres Cogley. Lucky maybe it was only a yellow card. All Luton, but with 33 gone, it's still Bolton 1, Luton 1.
Yeah, you know at some point tonight I'm going to get that wrong.
I know my media limitations, and that's a step too far for me on a chilly night in Bristol.
Bristol City lead West Ham United in the FA Cup. These games that we're bringing you tonight, all from the FA Cup third round replay. And Emerson trundles out towards the far touchline, plays a lovely ball into Benrahma and gets it back again. Infield to Ings. Ings with a chance to take it wide of the defender. Shoots towards goal. No conviction in it. Cleared away by the retreating Williams, and he tucks it behind and away for a corner. And he's frustrated again, Danny Ings.
Best move of the match there. Emerson and Benrahma down the left-hand side. Great interaction. It come across. Ings receives it, opens up the goal with his left foot, and he declines the shot for I'd say a low cross across the face of goal.
Down the corner, swept in towards the middle of the penalty area, and Max O'Leary's juggling with it, and it almost dropped for Mavropanos, and it was hooked over the top by Tanner, and it's out for another corner. Well, he didn't have safe hands on the ball there, Max O'Leary. It came over, it slipped from his gloves, he dropped in front of Mavropanos, he almost chucked it back to him at one stage, and then it was helped over the top by the defender George Tanner. They take a second corner, this time short. Ward-Prowse gets it back to Cresswell, who elevates the ball to the edge of the box. Viner's going to head that one away. Back in by Emerson, flicked up and chested down by Viner, who instead of going back to the goalkeeper just smashes it upfield. Ward-Prowse manages to nudge it back to Emerson. West Ham now putting the pressure on and coming on the attack. Tanner goes out to the far side. Across goes Gardner-Hickman, and he's penalised for being a little bit too hefty on Emerson, and a free kick has been given 7 yards back from the edge of the penalty area, really wide on the left-hand side.
Yeah, just looking at that rerun of the Ings one, he's done well. His receiving's been very good. He's just moved it onto his left foot, and for me, I think you've got to take the effort and open the goal up.
Well, this is an opportunity for James Ward-Prowse to cultivate another chance, and we know how supreme he can be at bending balls into the box from this sort of range. It'll be a right-footed delivery which arcs in towards that goal away to a right-hand side. He'll try and aim this to sort of arrive head height just behind the defensive line, which is a yard back from the penalty spot, and hope that someone goes to attack it this time. It is in towards that area, and it's headed into the air by Viner, who readied it properly, and then Max O'Leary gets stopped from trying to get hold of the ball by his defender, and Gardner-Hickman sort of got in the way of Max O'Leary's attempt to grab it, but he didn't look particularly confident, and it goes behind and away for a corner.
Well, we give O'Leary the benefit of the doubt of letting that one go through at the back post. I think he's got to be more aggressive there and take the lot out.
Another corner, this time in towards the near post, headed away by McCrory. Good header by him, back in by Sofal, travels all the way through past the West Ham bunch that have congregated inside the area, and it's clutched by O'Leary, and it we cleared away. But he's looked a little bit shaky, the Bristol City goalkeeper, in the last 5-10 minutes or so, and West Ham, with James Ward-Prowse able to put the ball right underneath his crossbar, that will be something that they consider, I think. Darren England has just allowed play on him when Pring felt he was fouled 7 yards inside opposition territory. What did you think?
I didn't think he was, to be fair. He's been aggressive in his play, so if you're going to get shouldered on occasion, you can't moan when someone puts you to the ground as such. I think the referee's been very good. I think it's amazing. You watch Premier League games week in, week out, and things get pulled up and you get frustrated. We've dropped into a cup game here with a Premier League club and a Championship, and things are being let go, which I think's quite good, actually. I'm enjoying it.
I haven't done a single FA Cup game with VAR yet, and it's been an absolute delight. Here is, well, that's not true, actually. The Crystal Palace Everton, that was not a delight. That had VAR in it, though. Here is Megmeti down the left-hand side. But all the other ones I've done recently, no VAR, and it's just flowed so much better. Here is Williams into Mehmeti again. Cornet gets back to help out his defence. Goes into Williams, who drives the ball into the box, and it's an interesting delivery because he just sort of fired that into the area, hoping that maybe it would fade at the end and McCrory could get on the end of it, but it was just bending away from him and goes behind and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, far too much violence on the ball. It should have been more of a sort of, I would say, 8-iron on golfing terms, you know, just faded up so it couldn't go out of play.
Yeah, he sort of hit that with a rescue club, didn't he?
And I've got a few of them in my bag, I can assure you.
It's the only one that's in mine. Here is So Foul, just short of the halfway line. Cuts it back to Kurt Zuma, who strides out over the halfway line. Kurt Happy Zuma, that's his nickname. Not a nickname, this is actually his second name, is Happy. And he, I don't think he's too happy with the presence that Conway has had in his area tonight, because he's put him under a little bit of pressure on occasion. So Foul, near touchline, plays it back to Mavropanos, and then slid back out towards So Foul. Did that go out of play on the near touchline? The referee and the linesman say no. Bristol City fans certainly trying to make their point, and it's with Fabianski away to our left-hand side. West Ham's cup record has not been great. Long before David Moyes, the bread and butter is the Premier League, but they have won just 6 of their last 22 FA Cup away ties, dating back to 2009. And all of those have come against lower league opposition.
I think some of the, well, certainly in my time at the club, some of the draws have not been favourable. Away at Manchester United, away at Liverpool in the last round, and various other games that have been a tough draw on paper, you would say. But I was speaking with Alan Irving today, and who works for the club, and I said, look, we can't moan about the draws, because Bristol City at home and potentially Forest or Blackpool at home, if you get through, is not a bad draw.
Indeed. And we already mentioned the Kidderminster experience, and you'll remember the Shrewsbury experience as well.
Yeah, 2 very ugly games, I've got to say.
Here's Viner, deep inside his own territory. Infield it goes to Rob Dickey, who plays it left towards this near touchline. It's taken on by Matty James of Bristol City. Infield it goes in that cherry red kit with white shorts and red socks, and big white numbers on the back, which are easily visible under these wonderful floodlights in what is turning into a brilliant arena. I don't know what they're planning to do away to our left-hand side at Ashton Gate, but this side of the ground, these 3 sides of the ground that we're sitting in, and the 2 opposite us that sort of meld together in the corner over on the far side, in which they call Section 98, is a really impressive looking ground now. And I think if they are able just to refurbish that area there and just bring it all in together in one piece, it will be some arena. No wonder they want to make an assault on the Premier League.
Yeah, it certainly is a wonderful environment here, I've got to say.
It is the biggest city in England never to have a Premier League club. And there is no doubt that they've done their best over the years to try and make that happen. But on nights like this, they know that the national attention is on them, and they want to put a big show on and off the pitch. Bristol City 1, West Ham United 0. They're certainly doing that at this moment in time. Was Sal telling me there's going to be 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half? I think that was the case. Here is Conway over the halfway line, moving down the right hand side. He needs a bit of support. He runs into Cresswell and puts it out, and it's away for a throw in to Bristol City opposite us. You're listening to Bristol City 1, West Ham 0 in the FA Cup on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup.
Just going back to that point you made there, Kurt Happy Zuma.
Oh yeah.
What would your middle names be? Sam Reasonably Cheerful Matterface?
Yeah, I think that's probably about right.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I think I'm reasonably cheerful. What would yours be? Or we're just going to stick with a nickname in the middle there.
Delightfully Daft.
I'd probably be something like Anorak or Geeky. That'd probably be more sort of
Gadget. I think you'd be Gadget.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You do like your latest
I do, don't I?
clobber and all manner of things.
Ball clipped forward by So Foul down the right side and into the arms of Max O'Leary. They've got a pair of glasses now that you can listen to music on.
And they've not been invented yet, surely.
I've got them in my bag. I'll show you at half-time. Fantastic. Got a camera on the front as well. Ball sent down the right touchline, looking for the darting run of McCrory. Ends up working its way into the path of Gardner-Hickman, who sends it back into Williams, back to Gardner-Hickman again. The committing bodies forward here, cross into the box. It goes pring at the far post, but Sofau gets there first. It's out for a corner in the first and only minute of injury time at the end of the first half, with Bristol City in the lead.
Well, once again, Pring's done exactly what I said he did earlier. He gets physical body contact, even on lost causes, and that ball was on Sofau's head, but Pring's made brilliant distance up, just got a little nudge on his back and forced a corner.
It is a corner with 5 of the red shirts now lurking on the edge of the D. Pring has moved towards the near post. McCrory's gone to the far post now as the ball goes into the box. McCrory rises, comes back out to Matty James, edge of the area. He's got time, didn't get the shot away, sent it to Williams. They're patiently building up here. Mehmeti's now got it inside the area, left-footed shot in towards the near post. It's shoveled behind by the goalkeeper Fabianski, who had to get down low, had to fingertip it wide, and this is a strong end to the first half by Bristol City, who lead.
Yeah, good patient build up there. The ball got cleared, but they moved it from left to right, and Mehmeti opened the goal up, coming on his left foot. You thought he was going to kill for the far corner, but he's pulled his shot into the near post.
Corner into the penalty area. McCrory with a header, and it's on target, but it's too close to Fabianski, who clears over the halfway line, and we do get the half-time whistle at Ashton Gate on what has been a really good first 45 minutes. And Bristol City, who have emerged victorious from just one of their last 15 FA Cup ties against Premier League opposition, lead here thanks to Tommy Conway's goal after just 3 minutes and 10 seconds against Premier League West Ham United. At the break, Bristol City 1, West Ham 0.
And we'll speak to Stuart Pearce about that first half very shortly. Bristol City going so close just before that half-time whistle. Mehmeti's shot saved by Fabianski. Wolves 1, Brentford 1. They're about to get the second half of that underway over on Talksport 2. Commentary of that one there. That's all square. And remember, all these ties, all these replays will be played to a finish this evening, even if it means penalties. And the half-time whistle's gone here at the Silver Lake Stadium, and the EFL side are in front, but only just. Alex Crook.
Eastleigh 0, Newport County 1. Home manager Richard Hill billed this as the biggest game in Eastleigh's history, with the prize of facing Manchester United at home in round 4 at stake. Well, the non-leaguers got off to the worst possible start when Aaron Wildig rounded the goalkeeper Joe McDonnell and slotted in with just 3 minutes gone. Newport have created the bulk of the chances since then. Scott Bennett from a corner saw his header saved at the far post by the legs of McDonnell, and then 6 minutes before half-time, Wildig maybe should have done better. The impressive Adam Lewis raiding down the left-hand side. It was his cross met by the darting Wildig at the far post, but on this occasion he could only fire into the side netting. Eastleigh have played some nice football at times. Enzio Boldevine had a shot blocked on the edge of the penalty area, while Paul McCallum and Scott Quigley have been lively, and certainly those Newport defenders know they've been in a game, but they have struggled in the final third to create any clear-cut opportunities. That will have to change in the second half to keep the dream of hosting Manchester United here at the Silver Lake Stadium alive. Half-time, Eastleigh 0, Newport County 1.
It's been exciting, it's been physical as well, and the referee's done his best to let things go, and he really has done that. Been a very entertaining first half. Newport in pole position to get that fourth round home tie against once mighty Manchester United. It's half-time at St Andrews as well. Talksport Ian Danter.
Birmingham City 0, Hull City 1, so Hull halfway to a tie against Leicester City in round 4. Their goal coming in the 12th minute after Birmingham had made a bright start, but suddenly a ball over the top got Billy Sharp in behind. He held it up well, fed James Furlong on the left, and his lovely cross from the byline was fired home right in front of goal by the Belgian Jason Lekillo. Hull, who made 11 changes from their last league outing, have looked quite neat and tidy at times, and they've held Birmingham off for long spells. But late in the first half, Christian Bielik had a terrific chance to equalise after a free kick caused problems in the box, but his header from 6 yards out went agonisingly wide of the far post. It's the Tigers who lead at the break at St Andrews. It's Birmingham City 0, Hull City 1.
And are we close to half-time at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium? Mark Wilson?
Yeah, we are. We're in the final few seconds. What's been a really good first half. here. Bolton 1, Luton 1 is the latest score. Dion Charles put Bolton in front against the run of play on 10 minutes. It came after Mengi slipped. Adebayo picked his pocket, drove into the box, pulled it back. Dion Charles, 17th goal of the season from close range. The lead lasted only 5 minutes after good work at the other end from Luton, who nicked the ball from Bolton. Clark played it into the path of Chong, who made no mistake from 10 yards out. Then Chong had a couple of efforts, one deflected wide, one cleared off the 6-yard line before Clark himself missed an absolute sit-out. Benny played him in 10 yards out. He pulled his shot across goal. Just before the break, a great effort from Victor Adebayo. Bolton got the ball on the halfway line. He drives forward to the edge of the centre circle. He sees Krul off his line. He goes for the chip, and it was inch perfect, dropping right under the crossbar. Krul got back, tipped it onto the crossbar, relieved to see it bounce down on the line and not over the line. Luton have had much the better possession, but look really dangerous on the attack. The half-time whistle's gone here. Really good second half in prospect. Bolton 1, Luton 1.
Half-times elsewhere. League 1, amazing scoreline really. Barnsley 0, Carlisle 1. January signing from Harrogate, Luke Armstrong with his first goal for Carlisle. And in the National League, just one game survived the frost. Chesterfield 1, Altrincham 1 is a half-time score. Ollie Banks for the National League leaders, Chesterfield. Top scorer Chris Conclark equalising for Altrincham, 1 apiece. And then the EFL Trophy is coming to a close at the Keepmoat. Doncaster 1, Wigan 1. Let's take a look at the half-time highlights in partnership with Carling.
The Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Well, former England captain Stuart Pearce, I've been watching your game on my screen. I've been watching Eastleigh 0, Newport 1 as well. Listen, your game got off to a flight, as did ours actually. But the goal after 3 minutes, it's an incredible one because West Ham have the ball. They seem to be in control. They're in launching an attack. Max O'Leary just balloons it. It's a massive clearance. Mavropanos gets the back pass all wrong. Tommy Conway nips in and scores, which is what he does. He's just an out-and-out goal-scoring centre-forward. He's got no assists. It's all goals this season. But what a brilliant start for Bristol City. But a strange goal from a West Ham point of view.
Yeah, it was a poor goal to concede. I think Lucas Fabianski probably didn't come off his line quickly enough to deal with the ball, and then when you realise you're not getting there, you've just got to back off, get in your goal and say, look, you've still got to beat me. He didn't either. I thought he was going to give a penalty away, to be honest with you. He didn't do that, but credit to Conway, he was very composed when he went round the goalkeeper, held his feet as well and slid it into an empty net.
When you think about how young he is as well, and there was seemingly no thought in his head of going down for the penalty. All he was interested in was putting the ball in the back of the net. But then to know that defenders are racing back to try to stop you, and you've got to adjust your angle slightly, you've got to touch the ball as well, you can't hit it first time just to give yourself that better angle. He did everything so composed for one so young.
Yeah, he did, and the key is when you go through in situations like him is transfer the pressure to the defenders, and he done exactly that. He went beyond the goalkeeper, he held his feet, and once he retrieved the ball beyond the goalkeeper, he said, you know what, I'm not going to panic. You're the ones who have got to panic because I'm bearing down on your goal, and he just slid it in nice and delicately from a tight angle.
Yeah, listen, you talked in the commentary about the referee letting things go, and we've got the same here, and I think it's great. No VAR, they are letting more go. There was one early on where it was the Bristol City midfielder Joe Williams who basically it was a foul on Danny Ings, and had the referee seen it, and as you said, VAR sees it, it looks to me like that's going to be a red because Danny Ings wasn't happy. I don't know if you saw it, but afterwards, after a couple of seconds after the foul, the two of them had a bit of afters where Williams went to shake Ings' hand, and Ings was having none of it. He pushed Williams away. He was not happy with that, and bearing in mind the injuries he's had, you could understand that.
I think more so because of his injury record, that he has been out a time with knee problems and whatever over his career, and I'm sure a tackle like that, it was a poor tackle, but I don't think there was any malice in it. He's gone to get the ball, he's got the ball, but he's rolled his foot over the ball and caught Danny Ings. Listen, I'm pleased to see people not getting sent off for stuff like that. I think it would have ruined what we've got. It's a really good game at the moment.
It is a good game, and West Ham have played their part. It's not like at half-time the West Ham fans, they can complain about the scoreline, absolutely, but West Ham have created some chances. They've got forward as well. As you said, it's been an even first half apart from the scoreline. Yeah, it is.
As I say, probably Bristol have given the ball away cheaply on occasion, which have encouraged West Ham to counter-attack them in the sort of the mid-band of their own half. But on top of that, it's a wide open game. Both teams are going forward, so on the turnover of possession, there are spaces to play. But, you know, Bristol City will be the happy ones. They've got their noses in front, and West Ham have got it all on, and they've not got much on the bench to reach to actually change things and change his scoreline around.
Stuart Pearce, thank you very much. Second half to come live on Talksport. That was thanks to Carling.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Well, Brentford have gone in front again. They've taken the lead for the second time at Molineux. Neil Maupay with it, 9 minutes after the restart. Wolves 1, Brentford 2 was a 7:30 kickoff. That is live on Talksport 2 right now. To get Talksport 2, just download the Talksport app for free. It won't take long. It's easy to use. Just swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2, or you can simply tell your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. Elsewhere in the FA Cup then, Birmingham 0, Hull 1, Bolton 1, Luton 1, Bristol City 1, West Ham 0 live on Talksport. And here at the Silver Lake, Eastleigh 0, Newport 1. It's the Exiles, Newport, who are in a pole position to take that fourth round tie at home to Manchester United. You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitz-all Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Offering up to £400 off selected Bike Plus and Tread packages. You might go all in with their classes and become a marathon training, shadowboxing, weightlifting, yoga-loving force of nature. Or you may just want to be able to touch your toes. From big sweaty goals to bendy toe-touching goals and everything in between, start strong with up to £400 off selected Peloton packages.
Offer ends 31st of January 2024. Internet connection and Peloton all-access membership at £39 per month required. Terms apply. See onepeloton.co.uk.
Talksport Bet. If you want to flutter, punters know it's the only place to go. 'Cause you get the form and the latest odds across your sync devices. Plus weekly bet boost prices. Win big jackpots from a classic game of slots. Talksport Bet, the broadcast bonus bookie, keeping you on track with all the sporting stats. Steeple chases, even title races, looking after sports fans. You know, 'cause Talksport Bet is the app that does all that. It's the only place to go.
18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Coming to Apple TV Plus on 26th January.
We came from every corner of the country to bring the war to Hitler's doorstep.
Starring a stellar cast led by Academy Award nominee Austin Butler, Callum Turner and Anthony Boyle.
You'll be in charge of 350 air crewmen, boys who have yet to experience combat.
Let's rack them up and knock them down.
From the executive producers of Band of Brothers in the Pacific.
I'm gonna bet on anything. I'm gonna bet on us.
Masters of the Air, only on Apple TV Plus. Subscription required.
I'm John, I'm 90 years of age, and every day is made possible with the support of lovely care workers like Carleen.
I'm Carleen, and I love my career in care, looking after people like John. I am proud to say that I'm a care worker. It's highly rewarding. I love getting to know new residents, new staff. Where I am, we're like a big family.
Search care careers now for a job made with understanding, made with teamwork, made with care.
On average, Rift get their customers $3,000 back.
I'm like a rubber ball, I come down.
Let's get the ball rolling. Search Rift tax refunds.
January. It's probably time to cut back, right? Wrong. It's time to go bigger. It's time for Subway. Grab life with both hands like a mouth-watering, freshly made footlong. Take a big bite and lunch like you mean it. And now you can get a footlong for even less. Download the Subway app and get any footlong you like for only $4.99. Subway. Eat fresh. Valid until February 20th, 2024. In-store only. Participation may vary. Extras cost more. Full T's and C's apply.
The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
The unstoppable force of live football.
Brilliant goal!
Kickoff FA Cup special
on Talksport.
Well, they're out here at the Silver Lake for the second half. Newport about to get us underway. They lead 1-0. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Yeah, still a couple of minutes to go till the second half starts at Ashton Gate. Bristol City lead West Ham 1-0 at half-time. And the Championship side are 6-5 on to win the match in 90 minutes. West Ham are 4-1. For the scores to be level after 90 minutes is 2-1. Danny Ings to score the second goal in the match was 11-2. That's been boosted to 6-1. And that's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Tomorrow night, TalkSport, it's Everton against Crystal Palace. I'll be at Goodison for that one. And on TalkSport 2, Blackpool taking on Nottingham Forest. And I mentioned before, you can listen to Wolves 1, Brentford 2. Second half well underway there. That was a 7:30 kickoff. All you have to do is download the TalkSport app for free. You swipe between TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Loads of other good stuff on the TalkSport app as well. Quality videos from TalkSport shows. There's some award-winning podcasts as well. A list of forthcoming live commentaries too. And you can also listen to Clips of the Week, which is actually on the radio every Friday afternoon at 3:30 with Hawksby and Jacobs. They're on air Monday to Friday, 1 till 4. Actually, the clips last week featured Alan Brazil a lot. Nothing new there. And the superb Hugh Wozencroft doing a great impression of Mark Lawrence. And you can listen to all of those by going to the podcast section on the TalkSport app. It's free and easy to download. We're underway here in the second half. It is Eastleigh 0, Newport 1. Winners face Manchester United. Bristol City lead West Ham by a 0 second half on TalkSport with the former England captain Stuart Pearce and Sam Matface.
Well, Bristol City haven't beaten West Ham United since September 1977 here. It was a West Ham team that contained Frank Lampard Sr., Alan Kirbishley, Trevor Brooking, Alan Devonshire, Pop Robson. In fact, West Ham have enjoyed coming here over the last few years, unbeaten in their last 6 trips to Ashton Gate, but they are behind at half-time. What do they need to produce different in the second half, Stuart Pearce?
Well, I think a contribution a bit more from Benrahma and more so Cornet. I think he's been very disappointing. I've not seen him pick the ball up and go past anyone as yet. I think they need a bit more from him, and Ings has shown he can create things in and around the box, so they need to supply him and that little bit more.
Well, the last time that these two met before last week was the last 32 of this competition back in January 2015, when West Ham needed a last-minute Diafra Saka goal to beat Bristol City. They need a second half goal here if they are to force extra time. They need 2 if they're going to knock Bristol City out of the FA Cup. No changes at half-time from either of these two teams. And West Ham United in blue shirts, blue shorts, blue socks attacking the goal away to our left, and the Atio stand where all of their fans are housed. Around about 2,000 of them have made the journey. And Bristol City in red shirts with white pinstripes, white shorts and red socks attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. There's been an early goal in the second half at Eastleigh at the Silver Lake Stadium for us. TalkSport's Alex Crook.
And the National League's dream of facing Manchester United is back on. It's Eastleigh 1, Newport County 1. This is some finish from their leading goal scorer, Paul McCallum. It's a volley from just inside the penalty area. A right foot rocket into the top corner. Game on! Eastleigh 1, Newport 1.
Yeah, it's an excitable Eastleigh. And they lead by they are back on level terms thanks to that early goal to start the second half. 1-1 there. We could be having extra time and possibly penalties, and we'll bring it to you all here on TalkSport. No matter what happens over the course of the next couple of hours, we've got it all covered from all angles. We'll keep you in touch with Birmingham Hull, which Hull lead by 0-0. That Bolton-Luton game hasn't yet restarted at the start of the second half. It's 1-1 there. They could be going to extra time. Brentford lead away at Wolves on TalkSport 2. And we are here at Bristol City's Ashton Gate, where they lead the Championship side by 0-0. They have the ball inside the penalty area with Conway trying to vie with Zuma for it down the right side. James Ward-Prowse has been knocked to the floor and he's got a head injury. And again, the Bristol City supporters aren't happy about the fact that he's gone down. They've stopped the game in the middle of a promising attack.
Yeah, I think the West Ham will be bemoaning someone leading with an elbow there, and it's caught Ward-Prowse straight across the chops. I think the referee's got no other choice but to stop the game in that respect. He's been guided, if there's a head injury, to stop games.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And he's up on his feet now, James Ward-Prowse, and the referee, Darren England, is walking over towards the near touchline to have a quick word with his assistant and then get ready for a restart, which will be an uncontested drop ball in the right wing position as Bristol City look at it. They're attacking the goal away to our right, so Gardner-Hickman is allowed to pick the ball up freely on this near side. Ben Rama's been sent away, can't challenge for it, and then they will look to build once again. So this is how the two teams look. O'Leary is the goalkeeper, had a few wobbles in that first half. The back three for Bristol City is Tanner, Viner and Dickey. McCrory, the right wing back, who's got into some promising positions, and the left wing back is Pring, who's big and strong and loves to challenge for the ball, especially airily out on that far side. Williams, James and Gardner-Hickman in midfield, and Conway and Magmeti up top. Gardner-Hickman actually getting up alongside Conway on a couple of occasions too. Here's Dickey, allowed to wander a long way, and Gardner-Hickman is trying to run down the left channel, but across comes Mavropanos. Fabianski takes an extra touch, that invites pressure. He eventually gets it clear on this near side. I'll give you the West Ham lineup in just a second, but that was a collision. Emerson is not fouled, and then that was a very late challenge, and then there was a kick out by Ben Rama, and two players involved in a tangle down in front of us. I think one of them was Williams, was it, who went diving in with a bit of a late challenge, and then Ben Rama had a kick out, and the referee's got some sorting out to do. I think there'll be a pair of yellow cards here.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's just put one card away, I think, potentially. No, he's given himself some thinking time. Once again, if VAR was here,
we'd have a world of trouble.
We certainly would. As I say, he's let the first free kick go, and then I think Bristol City were a little bit aggrieved by the first one being let go, and from that they've ended up clattering Ben Rama, and Ben Rama's put both of his feet into the groin. Yeah, exactly. Ben Rama's kicked out there, and I think he'll be fortunate to stay on in many ways.
Yeah, well,
but the referee's been very lenient from start to finish, so I'm not sure he'll be showing red.
No, I think it'll be two yellow cards. We've got a yellow card here for George Tanner is protecting Williams, but it is Williams who's going to get the first yellow card, and then I think it'll be a yellow card as well for Saeed Ben Rama. He'll wait till he gets up. He kicks out into the chest of the midfielder and then pretends to be injured. And the referee, I think the referee's just put his yellow card away, has he? And now he's going to send him off. He is. He's sending off Saeed Ben Rama, and West Ham are down to 10 men. And I have to say, on reflection, the referee took his time, digested the information, has no benefit of replay, has only got his assistant on this near side, who was very close to the incident, to help him through the process. But there's no doubt that he did have a little kick out and attempted to try and push Williams away with his feet. It might not be the most vicious kick out by Saeed Ben Rama, but actually, on reflection, if you do that, you run the risk of getting a red card, and a red card, Stuart Pearce, is what he's got.
Yeah, listen, I don't think you can have any complaints about that. He's gone down, he's lying on his back, but his feet have come up and put both feet into the midriff of Williams. And I think the referee, as you rightly say, Sam, took his time, was composed about it, thought, yes, there's a yellow there, but there's also a red as well. Now West Ham have got it all to do.
Well, I think when you said that Saeed Ben Rama needed to make more of a significant contribution, you were thinking of a significant contribution that would help, not hinder, West Ham United. How do they rejig the team?
Well, they're obviously going to go to a back four now. Creswell slid across from his left centre half role to left back. Emerson's been pushed on and advanced, and just looking at the makeup of what's in front, probably a 4-3-2 scenario, maybe a 4-4-1. What I would say is as well, West Ham haven't got much on the bench to change things.
Well, no, they haven't. They've only got Ben Johnson on the bench and Angelo Ogbonna, two centre half, well, one centre half and one centre half stroke full-back. They've also got Divine Mubama, who hasn't scored since March of last year. And then it's Keelan Casey, and Callum Marshall and Oliver Scarles, all young players who they think highly of, Stuart, but are unlikely to be used in this scenario.
Yeah, definitely that will be the case. Certainly, I'm sure David was expecting to be in a more comfortable position if you're going to put youngsters on the pitch. Certainly, where they stand at the moment, a goal down and down to 10 men, they've got it all on.
This is Talksport, and we are live at Ashton Gate, and there is a story brewing. West Ham United down to 10 men, are behind against Bristol City, who are coming forward now, and Conway's done well to take the ball in. Across comes Emerson, who darts it back to Cresswell, who turns it back to Fabianski, who plays it back out to Cresswell, and West Ham actually do a very good job of passing the ball out of a tight spot and moving the ball up the field down the right-hand side. Bristol City unbeaten in 12 of their last 16 home FA Cup ties. Manchester City the only ones that have thrashed them in that time, and they did once knock out Manchester United in the League Cup quarter-finals here on a famous night, which I remember clearly. Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored an equaliser for Manchester United that day, but Corey Smith scored a famous 93rd minute winner. And Bristol City went to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. You played a League Cup semi-final here as well, didn't you, with Nottingham Forest back in the day?
Yeah, certainly did. As I say, it was a real tight affair. I think we drew at home and come down here. Bear in mind, Bristol City were in the equivalent of the Championship then. It was a really tight affair. Driving rain and freezing cold, I seem to remember. Went on to win the League Cup that year.
You won the League Cup every year at one stage. That's what it felt like anyway.
Fairly successful.
Here is Tanner on this near side, moving up towards the halfway line, slipping the ball into the path of Garner Hickman, whose ball out wide to the right. It's cut out by Cresswell, who positioned himself well. It wasn't a brilliant ball from Garner Hickman, and it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper Fabianski, who plays it towards the right.
I think what West Ham have got to do, they're playing with a sort of 4-2-3 scenario, and Emerson has pushed on to fill Benrahma's role, if you like. They need to get Souček or Ward-Prowse on and beyond and go and support those three when they get in attacking positions. Otherwise, they're totally outnumbered in the advanced areas when they get forward, West Ham.
Well, we've played 10 minutes of the second half and it hasn't disappointed. Saeed Benrahma kicking out at Williams, and Joe Williams, who doesn't mind doing the dirty work in midfield. He set up a great chance for Taylor Garner-Hickman against Preston at the weekend and was probably their best performer in the match. Went sliding into a tackle, which I don't think Benrahma liked too much. He kicked out at his chest, and the referee and the assistant saw it, and the red card then came, and West Ham now down to 10 as we go into minute 56, with Bristol City leading thanks to a third-minute goal from Tommy Conway. Here is Williams, who's dragged to the floor by Souček. It's going to be a free kick to Bristol City, and the problem is it's a long time for a team which does include some players who have played a lot of football this season and some players who have played hardly any football this season, Ings and Cornet over on the far side, to try and get through another 40 minutes with one less player, one fewer player.
Yeah, I think you've just got to take this game in isolation, and the cup run, as I say, they had the home draw against Bristol City and couldn't do the job, and they're in a situation now where they've got their backs to the wall and need to find something from somewhere.
Conway flashing the ball through the 6-yard box after the free kick was sent down the right. It was a little bit hit and hope from Conway, and I would have thought they would have tried to craft a slightly different set piece. Fabianski's rushed his clearance. The referee has blown the whistle and said he gets to do it again because there was a moving ball away to our right-hand side. And he has it once again. I think they just need a little bit of composure, West Ham United, just to find their range, as Wolverhampton Wanderers level things up at Molineux. It's 2-2 there. And Fraser, is that young Nathan Fraser who scored the goal there? Here is Williams under pressure from Ward-Prowse, tucks it back on the right-hand side. A ball sent down the corner by Tanner. Offside flag is up against Conway, who breached the line. Went just a little bit too early in behind Kurt Zuma into the right channel, and the flag went up on this near side. So wherever you're listening to us tonight, thank you very much for joining us. If you're listening to us on Sirius XM FC in the United States of America, we're delighted to have your company from East Coast to West Coast and beyond. Thank you very much for choosing Talk Sport. And wherever you are up and down this icy nation, then make sure you wrap up warm. There has been a goal at Silver Lake. We'll get there in the second, but Conway has just gone in behind the West Ham defence only for the flag to go up on this near side. But the flag hasn't gone up at the Silver Lake. There's been a goal for Alex Crook.
And the visitors lead again. Eastleigh 1, Newport 2. They probably should have had a penalty for a handball by Corey Panther. The referee said corner. From that corner, James Clark with a diving header into the back of the net. Eastleigh 1, Newport 2.
So at the moment, it's going to be a trip to South Wales for Eric Ten Hag and his team, but there's still a long way to go in that game. 29 minutes still to play there, and there's still over half an hour to play here as Bristol City of the Championship, 14th in the division, take on West Ham United, who are down to 10 men, and it's Bristol City who lead. Here's James Ward-Prowse, just short of the centre circle, in it, and then beyond it towards Thomas Soucek, right side. Extra space for Sofau. He's got Cornet waiting in the centre. Ings at the near post, and Viner actually got there first when Ings wasn't going to get hold of it and headed it behind, and it's away for a corner kick.
There's West Ham have done exactly what they should be doing there. They played two players holding in Prowse and Soucek in a defensive mode, but as soon as they get possession of the ball, Ward-Prowse is dropping to get the ball, and Soucek has got himself another 30 yards up the pitch in and around the forward line, and that's what they need to do.
Sam Bell's about to come on for Bristol City, but first the corner for West Ham in towards the near post. Soucek heads the ball against the face of Gardner-Hickman. The referee allows play on. It's picked up on the far side. Ward-Prowse into the centre. Gardner-Hickman steers it clear. Pring nudges it towards the near touchline, and then Emerson hooks it back in towards the penalty area. Viner takes charge, heads it straight to Vlad Sofau, whose delivery is great, but not on this occasion. And it's straight into the arms of Max O'Leary, who gobbles it up, and David Moyes is out on the touchline. Big black hat on tonight, big huge stadium jacket, and he's not happy about what he's seen. Two changes. The other change incoming sees the arrival of Sam Bell, and the other one is Nucky Wells, who's only just coming back from an injury, really, an ankle problem. He's made 5 appearances since. He's biding his time and trying to get into the team full-time. The Bermudan international, he is coming on. Bell and Wells entering the fray. So a change-up and some fresh legs for Bristol City, who lead, and they're on the attack again down the left-hand side, and the ball is going to mean nothing because the offside flag is up on this near touchline. It's going to be Ross McCrory who comes off, and he is replaced by Bell, and the other change is going to be Tommy Conway, the goal scorer, who comes up, and I can imagine that Conway is going to come off to a rapturous applause. McCrory did well, actually, and looks like he's going to be a good acquisition for Liam Manning. Tommy Conway now coming off, having scored the only goal of the game, behind the goal away to our right, and Wells will come on in his stead. Big goal in League One, where Barnsley have equalised in the game in League One against Carlisle, and they can go above Oxford into 5th if they win tonight. Carlisle 23rd in League One, but they took the lead. Barnsley have got back, and Devante Cole, who is the second top scorer in League One with 15 goals, scratch that, he's now level top scorer in League One with Alfie May of Charlton on 16 goals, because he scored the one that's levelled it up just before the hour mark. Let's go off to St Andrews and talk sports. Ian Danton.
Played an hour, still Birmingham City 0, Hull City 1. Could have been 2-0 a moment ago to the Tigers. Terrell Sellers-Fleming played it inside the area about 6 yards out. Snapshot at goal. It was well turned away by John Ruddy in the Birmingham goal. I can tell you that Tony Mowbray is preparing to bring all 5 substitutes on right now, all in one go, Sam. An hour gone. Birmingham 0, Hull 1.
Off to the Tough Sheet Stadium. And here's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, 56 gone here. It's still Bolton 1, Luton 1. Luton have hit the woodwork in the second half. It was a really good chance for Clark, but he hit the woodwork, and then Baxter made a fine double save with his legs to keep Luton at bay. 56 gone. It's Bolton 1, Luton 1.
Every time I get through those two words together without causing any offence, I give myself a little pause and a thumbs up and then go on from there. Yep, just a little bit concerned. Here is Emerson. Who named it the Tough Sheet Community Stadium? Ridiculous. Here is Danny Ings vying with Matty James in the middle of the park for the ball. Are you joking? There's another goal at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Here's Talksport's Mark Wilson.
It's Bolton 1, Luton 2. Luton getting in down the left-hand side. Ball across the 6-yard box, and there was Chidozie Ogbeni to tap it in from close range. 12 gone second half. Bolton 1, Luton 2.
Here come Bristol City, darting down the right-hand side is Bell. He's worked it out to Megmeti on the edge of the area. He prods it towards the left. A chance to cross from the far side. They leave it to Williams, who strikes it towards the near post, and it goes narrowly behind, hits the advertising boardings and comes back to Fabianski, but it was well wide of goal. And there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on, and Cresswell and Taylor Gardner-Hickman has just picked up a yellow card, and he's furious about the fact that he has been penalised. It's a yellow card for Cresswell as well.
Well, I think the referee's done well in hopefully diffusing that situation, because they've been wrestling each other. I think there was a half a semi-punch thrown between each other, and then eventually there was an obstruction which they clattered into each other a couple of seconds after that, and the referee hopefully has defused it, because otherwise one of them was going to get sent off very shortly.
Is half a semi-punch a quarter punch?
I think it is. It might be a third of a punch.
I must admit, I
like your work on your fractions, my friend.
Listen, that's my strong point, fractions. Here is Souček diving into a tackle in midfield. It's got a little bit spicy out there now, and the referee's going to be a little bit careful not to lose control. Goalkeeper's come a long way here to chase a ball into the right channel as West Ham look at it. Cornet's not going to get there, O'Leary is, and it's out and away for a throw-in over on the far side. Bristol City lead by a solitary goal to nil. West Ham down to 10 players as a result of the sending off of Saeed Benrahma for kicking out, but they are going to make a change, and Ben Johnson is going to come on in the next few moments.
And I've got a feeling Johnson will be for Cresswell. I may be wrong, but...
Ball in towards the near post. It comes back out and cleared into the path of Emerson, who strikes the ball down the throat of the goalkeeper. It takes a deflection before it reaches him and goes out of play over on the far side. It might be Vlad Sofau who's coming off.
It surprised me a little bit. I thought it would be Krezi on the grounds that he's just got booked.
Well, they're going to get this corner done first, I think, and once again James Ward-Prowse is about to send it in towards a congested penalty area at the near post. Cornet was there, but it went over his head, and Taylor Gardner-Hickman headed it clear. It's collected by Ward-Prowse. It's short for Sofau. He's shut down by Megmeti, and the ball that is centred into the box is easily cleared by Bell. Bell gets it only as far as Cresswell, who recycles it back towards the left. Mavropanos heads it on. It drops inside the box, and it comes back out of the box for Kurt Zuma, and it's well over the top of the crossbar. It was a cumbersome volley that he was never going to be able to control, and here is that change. And Vlad Sofau, who picked up a bit of an injury actually in the first game between the two, is replaced by Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I don't see a change of shape here. I suppose with Krezi, he had the opportunity to go to a 3 at the back if he wanted, but Johnson's just filled straight in at right back, like for like.
I wanted to ask you at some point tonight, I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to now because of the circumstance of the game, about the strength of the squad, but Ben Johnson, I read this morning, was offered a 6.5-year contract at West Ham, and they couldn't come to an agreement. That seemed like a very long contract to offer someone who is on the fringes of the first team. Here is Megmeti, poked in behind Anaki Wells, and it goes back to Cresswell, and it's cleared away upfield towards the West Ham left. Ings brings it down, and then it goes into the feet of Emerson, and then on to Cornet, who turns the ball back in towards the near post, and it's over the top after a brilliant save by Max O'Leary from Thomas Souček's effort. He was 8 yards out, he connected brilliantly with a cross, and it was tipped over beautifully by Max O'Leary, an instinctive save which has kept the scoreline in Bristol City's favour.
Well, really good play there. Cresswell started it, a raking ball to Danny Ings, who made a great run, and when it eventually arrived at Cornet, he whips it across the face of goal, and Souček arriving the furthest man up the pitch, and he's got to do that more often if West Ham are going to get into this game.
Corner to West Ham, deep ball in towards the middle of the goal, punched away by O'Leary, who's got more confidence now, and they almost got robbed of possession, and now they have been. And I tell you what, there was a chance there to break, and it was only because it was an imprecise ball by Bell that there was a situation where the West Ham defence could get back and reshape. Ball out of play on this near side. West Ham on the attack. Let's get off to St Andrews. There's been a goal for Ian Danter.
Birmingham City 1, Hull City 1. Jay Stansfield firing home. Quick throw in from the right. Miyoshi onto it. Tried an effort from the edge of the area. Beaten out by Engren, but Stansfield onto the rebound and crashed it home from a tight angle. It's Birmingham 1, Hull 1.
Could be heading to extra time there. Could be heading to extra time on Talksport 2. There's only 6 minutes remaining at Molineux, where it's Wolves 2, Brentford 2. That game continues. If you want to get our app, you can listen to it. West Ham trying to force the issue here. They're down by 1-0 to Bristol City in the Championship. 27 places between them. West Ham in good form at this moment in time. They've been winning games and winning games well. They've won 4 of the last 7. 2 draws and 1 defeat in that time, and that was in a Carabao Cup game against Liverpool at Anfield. They won 10 of the last 16, West Ham United, but they're struggling to beat Bristol City here. Here is Johnson on the right-hand side, challenged by Pring. Pring comes away with the ball and then tucks it, reverse style, out of play on the far side and away for a throw-in.
Cornet's just received the ball, no one behind him. Instead of turning, he's turned back towards his own goal. From there, he's given Ben Johnson a 50-50 hospital ball. You've got to do better than that.
Big clearance by Bell up into opposition territory. Bell, who recently gave an interview in which he said he was the fastest player at Bristol City. And his dad, Mickey Bell, you might remember him, was a left-back for Bristol City many years ago. And is now part of the academy coaching staff.
Naki Wells is a bit lively on his toes as well, isn't he?
He's a bit lively, yeah, he's very fast. Maybe those two could have a race at the end of the game and we'll work out who is really the fastest. Zuma back to Mavropanos, who slips the ball between a crowded midfield and picks out Cornet. They get the ball out towards the right-hand side. Johnson immediately harassed by Mehmeti, goes back to halfway, and it's collected by Mavropanos again. Bristol City leading against West Ham by 1-0, and the fans on the far side are certainly enjoying it. They're making a huge amount of noise trying to raise the temperature, because actually, despite the fact they're down to 10 players, they have turned the temperature up on Bristol City in the last 10 minutes or so, West Ham. Ball helped forward, looking for Ings, who nods it into the path of Emerson. Emerson weaves away from 2 players, shoots down low to the goalkeeper's left, and it goes narrowly behind and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
Well, West Ham are not giving this up easily, that is for sure. And Bristol have got to wrestle some of the momentum back if they can. And the best way of doing that is score another goal.
Saeed Benrahma's been linked with a move away in this January transfer window. Leon on loan was something that I saw this morning as another one. I know that Alex Crook has been following that story, and whether or not anyone is going to be a taker for Saeed Benrahma. I think they'd like to get rid of him permanently, really. Good ball in towards Naki Wells down the right side. He shoots towards the near corner, and it's pushed away by Fabianski, who makes a vital save and sends it out the far post and away behind and out for a corner kick. It was a good little dart down the right side. Gardner Hickman fed the ball into the path of Naki Wells, who went in behind the defence in the right channel and from a tight angle tried to go towards the near post. It was a solid save by Fabianski.
It was. I've got to say, what a great run by Naki Wells that was. He just dipped behind Kurt Zuma, stayed on side, and from a tight angle he thought, you know what, I'm going to give it everything I've got.
Corner kick taken short, back out to the far side. Cross is low and pours straight into the body of Cornet. Claims of handball against Cornet, but I don't think Bristol City are going to get away with that. Johnson tries to clear. He was in a tight position, and Bristol City have kept them inside their own half. It's picked up by Dickey, who looks to try and steer it out towards this near side. Bell back to halfway, and Zach Viner. 2-1 Luton against Bolton, 1-1 Birmingham Hull, 2-2 with 2 minutes to go Wolves Brentford, and Eastleigh behind 2-1 at home to Newport, who look like they're going to get a tie against Manchester United as things go. Graham Copland's team looking as if they are going to knock out the non-league side, but there's still time to go there and here, where West Ham are behind and searching for an equaliser, but it's Bristol City are on the front foot at this moment in time. Ball sent forward though by Souček, straight down the middle of the pitch, a long ball, 40-50 yards or so, and it goes straight through to O'Leary. 337 West Ham fans here apparently tonight, out of the 25,616 that have made it into the ground. Jason Knight for Gardner Hickman about to be on, but here come Bristol City down the left side. Mehmeti in towards the near post, which could be his last involvement in the game, because he's just about to be replaced by Harry Cornick. But they have a corner first of all, and they want to take that quickly, and have, with West Ham not set, and it's quickly into the box, and Gardner Hickman tries to tee the ball up for Matty James. The ball takes a deflection. Gardner Hickman will protect it. He'll go out for a second successive Bristol City corner.
Yeah, they've managed to wrestle some sort of momentum back now, Bristol City. Succession of corners, and they'll be happy that the ball spends a bit more time in the opposition's half.
I have to say, what a brilliant game.
It's been a fantastic replay, it really has.
Great spectacle. Ball in towards the near post. It's James Ward-Prowse who was favourite to get there, didn't quite. Comes back out of the penalty area, and it's whacked forward by Tanner. Didn't catch it properly, and it's repelled out to Mehmeti on the far side. Tries to get into a shooting position, couldn't quite do so. So lends it to Matty James, gets it back again, goes down the left side, feeds the ball into Nucky Wells. He tried to turn, couldn't. It's worked back out to the far side, and Gardner Hickman trying to produce a cross into the box, and it's half clear once again. And then Ings has got it on the end of his own D. He's given it away, and it's struck firmly by Pring. Comes out to Bell on this near touchline, looking for a shooting position, goes wide, centres it, but it's too close to Fabianski, who just about grabs it, and West Ham will clear, but they're now facing a bit of pressure, West Ham United, and if they concede a second goal here, it will be curtains.
It certainly will. As I say, they're having a go of it, they're making a fist of it at the moment, West Ham. I think it's important that Souček keeps that energy and gets forward to supplement the front line.
Ben Johnson sprinting down that right-hand side and running down a bit of a cul-de-sac, but dragging his team up the pitch momentarily, just giving them a bit of a breather. Here's the two substitutes, as I mentioned, Cornick and Knight on for Mehmeti and Gardner Hickman. Substitutes 3 and 4. And Jason Knight, who came closest to opening the scoring in the first half against Preston at the weekend, the former Derby player, experience, knows what he's doing. Been around the block a little bit. He's only 22, but he knows what he's doing. And Harry Cornick, who they picked up last January from Luton, hasn't managed to complete 90 minutes very often. Only once this season has he done that, but he goes and joins the attack. I think that's quite an aggressive substitution. I think Liam Manning thinks they can get a second goal here.
Well, sometimes you put more attackers on, it puts the opposition on the back foot a little bit more.
Ball clipped forward by O'Leary from the goal kick. Emerson wins the header in front of Knight. It's picked up by Pring and sent forward, and now Knight's got it again. He slides the ball into Wells. There's a lovely little turn, and he almost tried to feed Cornick. He felt he was fouled. Referee has allowed play on. It's picked up by Knight again. He shoots down to the goalkeeper's left from some distance out. It was never really troubling Fabianski, who manages just to sprawl across and pick it up and run to the edge of his penalty area untroubled. A couple of times there were half chances for Bristol City to get in behind.
Yeah, there were, and it was that man Wells again. His movement and the spinning with the ball has been very, very good on a couple of occasions since he's come on.
Wolves Brentford heading to extra time on Talksport 2. If you want to listen to that and what could happen, could be a penalty shootout there, and then it's Talksport 2. Download the app, you flick between the two stations, and Birmingham Hull also heading that way. Newport Eastleigh still 2-1 to Newport, or it was the last time we heard from Alex Crook.
Manchester United will be heading to Newport County in the FA Cup fourth round. It's Eastleigh 1, Newport 3, and their leading goal scorer Will Evans has absolutely sealed it with an emphatic left foot finish, rifled into the far corner. No chance for Joe McDonnell in the Eastleigh goal. It's Eastleigh 1, Newport County 3.
I once went to Rodney Parade with Manchester City, and now that it's Manchester United that are going down there, it'll be an interesting trip for Erik ten Hag and his team. We'll bring that to you live on Talksport. That's the 4:30 game, I think, on the Sunday of FA Cup 4th round weekend, and we're looking forward to that. So we seem to have sorted out at least one tie tonight. Everything else is in the balance, really, because Luton are only 2-1 up against Bolton, and Bristol City only 1-0 up here, and the other two games are currently all square in the FA Cup. And 1-1 between Barnsley and Carlisle in League One. The League Two game between Mansfield and Forest Green was called off earlier. Ings is going through the centre here, vying with Max O'Leary for the ball. He's beaten him to it, and although the referee has just said that was a foul on the goalkeeper, so he's not going to get away with that. And it's going to be a free kick to Bristol City, who are in no rush to take it, by the way. The ball's just been left in the mid part of the Bristol City half, and Divan Mubama had to come on and nudge it back to the goalkeeper in the end.
West Ham are looking for the enthusiasm of youth to come and get them out of trouble at the moment.
They are. Callum Marshall is about to come on. Young West Ham United player, Northern Irishman, who's a striker really. He's only 19 years of age. The other change is going to be Divine Mubal. Oh no, he's put his jacket back on. Ball cleared away by Mavropanos up towards the middle of the park. Into corner, and he's pulled back towards the far side, and Johnson is a poor one. It goes straight out of play, and it's away for a throw-in. 78 minutes gone. This is Talksport, and it's going to be Mubama and Marshall who come on here. It's a bit of a gamble, is it, by David Moyes, or has he got no choice at this stage? He's got to look as if he's going for it, hasn't he?
Where's the gamble? I think the team have been on the front foot since the sending off, but without peppering the goalkeeper in any way, so there is no gamble. Reaching for a couple of youngsters on the bench. You know, I've been disappointed with Cornet tonight, I really have.
Here on the far side, the ball picked up by James once again, gets it back and sends it infield, plays it via the middle of the park out towards his right hand side. Williams gives it on to Tanner, and then Bell, and back into Tanner once again. Down the right, Bristol City come, and then it's Knight who's trying to play the ball in behind for Bell, and he's got it, and it's a centred ball into Wetnacki Wells, and it's narrowly wide of the left hand upright. So close to a second goal for Bristol City.
Yeah, really good play there. Bristol City just dictating the tempo of play, and there was almost no need really to go in behind West Ham's back line in many ways. They were keeping possession, could have run the clock down, but credit to them, they're looking for the second goal.
Here he comes, Callum Marshall, who is coming on to replace Aaron Cresswell, and Divine Mubama, who is coming on to replace Danny Ings. So Ings and Cresswell off, so they'll go to that back four as they have been, but Emerson will drop into left back, and I think Marshall will go and play on the right hand side. Mubama will play through the middle, Cornet out on the left, and again it'll be Ward-Prowse and Souček to try and somehow cover the midfield.
Yeah, well, there's a vast amount of space there for Ward-Prowse and Souček to do that, and Souček's main ambition now should be to get up and play almost in a number 10 role behind those front three.
Bolton thought they had equalised at the tough sheet. Have they, Mark Wilson?
Been ruled out. It's Bolton 1, Luton 2. Bolton with a great break down the right hand side. I think it was Toll, got the cross in. Adebayo got the slightest of touches on it, the near post. It rolled into the 6 yard box, and Dion Charles poked it home. He celebrated. I think it might have been Charles that was offside. The ironic thing, I don't think he needed to touch it. I think it's going in anyway. Disallowed. Bolton 1, Luton 2.
Hasn't played for West Ham United very often. He did score in the 5-1 win in the Youth Cup final, Callum Marshall, but the biggest game I think he played in was probably when he made his debut for the Northern Ireland international side. He came off the bench in a game against Denmark last summer, and he had a late goal disallowed by VAR, which would have given Northern Ireland a really good draw. And they need him to come up with something late on in this game here if they're to survive and continue in the FA Cup. But it's Bristol City who are going fourth at this moment in time and going into the fourth round. Cornick trying to cause problems for Johnson and Mavropanos. Johnson gets it back to his goalkeeper, and West Ham have possession deep inside their own half. Big 10 minutes here for David Moyes and for West Ham.
Yes, it is, and they're not at this stage getting up the pitch or creating chances.
They've given the ball away, and Naki Wells is turning and running at the defence. He's fed Jason Knight inside the box, who's got the wrong side of Kurt Zuma, who's struggling, and he's fallen over and tucked it behind in a stretch. He was under real pressure there, Kurt Zuma, and he got just slightly wrong-footed, and he looked a little bit cumbersome as he went to prod the ball behind. He might have hurt himself in doing so.
Yeah, I think he's just being helped to his feet, and it was a good opportunity there. He just got back. I think he was waiting for his goalkeeper to come and help him out. That wasn't forthcoming. He had to put it behind for a corner.
It's a corner to Bristol City with 8 minutes to go. Through to the last 16 of the Europa League, West Ham United, the sixth best team in the country at this moment in time, but behind against Bristol City, who send the ball into the middle of the 6-yard box. It's over the head of Wells and will bounce straight out of play and out for a goal kick. This will be a famous night at Ashton Gate if they can pull it off here, Bristol City.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd have been absolutely wonderful, the home supporters, and if they end up, when the final whistle goes, they've got their nose in front going into the next round, they'll be absolutely buzzing here.
Ball headed away by Dickey. Mavropanos on the edge of his own penalty area has it under control. Sent wide towards the left. Cornick chasing on the far side. Johnson does well, weaves and bobs his way into midfield, gives it to Souček. Out wide it goes. They've gone to extra time at Molineux over on Talksport 2. Here's Emerson moving into the middle, trying to find a way through. Looks for Mubama, and there was a foul there, I think, by Williams. And that's going to be a free kick. Good 10 yards, 15 yards back from the edge of the D, dead centre. And West Ham have got a chance to craft an opportunity.
Yeah, they have. Probably too much distance for Ward-Prowse. Another 10-15 yards at advance, he will certainly be looking at the goal.
West Ham last won the FA Cup in 1980, lost in the final on penalties in 2006. They were seconds away from winning it against Liverpool, but they haven't been beyond round 5 since reaching the quarter-finals in 2016. It's a club that's been to one semi-final in 32 years. Mavropanos onto Emerson, delivers the ball to the far post, headed away by Jason Knight, picked up by Johnson for West Ham right side. Naki Wells goes across and tucks it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, good defending work there by Naki Wells, back in his final third, just seeing Johnson out.
Johnson's cross into the centre, looks for Divine Mbamba, and it's cleared away by Joe Williams, who went thrusting himself in between ball and man and nudged it out for a corner kick over on the far side. This could be a historic win for Bristol City. We could be going to extra time should West Ham get a late equaliser here. 1-0 the score. Championship side having to defend here as the corner comes in from Ward-Prowse. It's an arcing one towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It drops inside the box. It's cleared away by the Bristol City defence, and the speed with which Cornick is chasing Johnson is quite impressive. Johnson's composure is equally so, and he sees it back to his goalkeeper.
I've got to say, Johnson, since he's come on with his driving runs, has give West Ham a bit of a lift with energy, if nothing else.
Cornet onto Mubama, who just manages to turn the ball out towards the left-hand side, but it's too heavy for Callum Marshall, and Marshall can't keep it in, and it goes out of play for a goal kick away to our left. Bristol City 1, West Ham 0 in the FA Cup on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup.
Yeah, it's that little bit of know-how there with Mbama. He just got the ball done really well. The pass was the right one, but too much adrenaline running through the body, I think, and he's just overhit it.
Ian Manning, who spent 4 years as the West Ham United under-23s coach, assistant academy director. He's had a few permanent jobs at MK Dons and Oxford before coming here. He had a spell in Belgium as well. Just having a word with Sam Bell on this near touchline. He only came into the job in November to replace Nigel Pearson. They hope that they can get themselves into the playoffs this time around. And certainly he's a coach with a lot of ambition. He did good work at MK Dons, and he's just trying to settle things down here as they go into the final 3.5 minutes. This would be his biggest scalp, I think. since joining Bristol City. It'll certainly be his biggest night so far. He hopes it won't be his last. They've got Blackpool or Nottingham Forest in the next round, should it stay like this. 3.5 for West Ham to find an equaliser. Otherwise, they're going out of the FA Cup. No Bowen, no Paqueta, no Kudus, no Aguerd. And quite a few problems. Dickey tries to pinch the ball on halfway. James actually then went across and nudged it away from Callum Marshall. It goes back to James Ward-Prowse, and West Ham have it right side. Ben Johnson looks up, elevates the ball into a central position, aiming for Cornet, who felt he was pulled back on the edge of the box by George Tanner. Referee says play on, and Bell will bring it clear into midfield. Williams, and run by Cornick far side, trying to get the better of Johnson. It's an interesting race that. Cornick has gone round the long route, but he's still vying with Johnson for the ball. Did brilliantly to get his body in between the ball and Cornick, and then send it back to Fabianski.
Yeah, I've got to say, Johnson, since he's come on, his defensive work and his attacking work's been very, very good.
West Ham face another early exit in the FA Cup unless they can conjure a goal here. Bristol City haven't won for 4 games, but they are about to eliminate a patched up West Ham United team as Barnsley go in front against Carlisle, looking to go above Oxford in League One. They're in front by 2-1. They've come from behind. It looks like they're going to win that game. Elsewhere, it's into extra time on Talksport 2. And the goal coming from Herbie Kane from the penalty spot for Barnsley. Birmingham 1, Hull 1. Bolton 1, Luton 2 going into the final 7 minutes. Newport knocking out Eastleigh. But the story is here. The headlines will be made here. There's going to be 4 added minutes at the end of the 90. Jason Knight striding forward, poking the ball down the right side. He gives the ball to Bell. On the turn is Wells. He gets into a shooting position and he cracks one towards the far corner, and it's only an inch over the top. What a chance. That would have been a spectacular clincher from Naki Wells, who opened his body up 25 yards from goal and sent it arrowing towards the far corner.
Yeah, shape of it was very good. Naki Wells finding a touch of space there. Got turned like all good strikers should. But Fabianski didn't seem troubled by it, and really, when you have a shot from that at this stage of the game, you've got to make sure you either hit the back of the net or you're giving possession away.
Well, possession has gone back to West Ham. We're in the last minute of the 90. The ball sent forward by Mavropanos. It's not a great ball. And it's going to go all the way through to Max O'Leary, and there's been some disappointing performances tonight from West Ham, who I think probably have learned a bit about 1 or 2 of the understudies that have come into the group. They've had a good season. Last season they did drop down the table, but they won a trophy this year. They're into the last 16 for the Cup. They picked up a record points haul in the first half of the season. But if they want to be fighting in, well, they hope 3 competitions after the night, but it's only going to be 2 now, then they're probably going to have to invest in their squad in this window. Here's Wells holding on to the ball. He knows now that he doesn't need to go and score a second goal. He knows he can go backwards rather than forwards and keep possession here, because we're ticking over into the 90th minute of the game, of which there will be 4 added minutes at the end of the 90. They have the ball on the right side. It's picked up by Bell. Bell moving towards the edge of the box. It almost opened up in front of him, but Souček closed the gap very quickly. James keeps hold of it. Bristol City 4 minutes away from an historic occasion at Ashton Gate, knocking out West Ham United 6 in the Premier League. Viner sends the ball back to his goalkeeper. It was a short back pass by Mavropanos and a poor starting position from Fabianski, which led to Conway picking the ball up and rounding the goalkeeper, tucking it in from a tight angle and giving Bristol City the lead on the night. And it looks like taking them through to the 4th round of the competition. They're about to beat a Premier League team in the FA Cup for only the 2nd time in 16 attempts. That's how rare victories are against top-flight opposition here. Mubama shrugs the defender Tanner out the way. Joins up with Emerson, who's crossed into the box. Needs to be a good one. It wasn't great. It's headed away, but Ward-Prowse has nudged it forward. Cornick is causing problems for Johnson far side. Marshall dives in and wins the ball back for West Ham. Sends a lovely ball to Mubama, who can't bring it down. It comes off his toe and goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. What's the verdict going to be in West Ham circles to that Saeed Benrahma sending off? Because that's a crucial moment in the game.
I'm not sure if you're anyone in West Ham colours you can come out and defend that. It's a sending off. That's the bottom line. Has it changed the game? I'm not sure. The bottom line is Bristol City were 1-0 up anyway, and they would have probably had more effort. I'm not sure if you didn't know with the run of the game in the second half and since the sending off, I don't think the game's dramatically changed in any way.
West Ham haven't been productive enough in front of goal, and Bristol City have played some smart stuff and created chances of their own, and they might create another one here because Knight is stretching the West Ham defence again. Down the right he goes. He joins up with Williams, who's on the edge of the box. It's played back wide tonight. They're wasting every precious moment now. Bell back to Knight on this near side. Knight sends it into Wells. Wells, who's got help from Knight, who's in the box now, who drags his shot through the 6-yard box. And it's well wide of goal. In fact, I think when it crossed the line to go behind, it was outside the penalty area.
In all honesty, they've done really well. Slowed possession down, kept it, then got excited and went for goal. Really what they needed to be doing is just working it across the back line, come out again, keep possession.
Only takes one moment for West Ham to get back in the game. But West Ham haven't looked capable of that. They've rarely tested Max O'Leary in the goal, and the only time they did was from Thomas Souček's rifling volley from inside the box, and he produced a stunning save at that moment. And it's a moment that will live long in memories of the Bristol City community, young and old. And West Ham, who have had 11 shots but only 2 on target tonight, will be a little bit concerned about their goal scoring in the absence of some of their key players, and that has made a difference as Cornick runs in behind but is offside. 57% possession West Ham have had in the game.
Yeah, and that's with 10 men for a large spell of the game, but as I say, they've not had enough efforts at goal. The front three, certainly the starting front three, have not caused enough problems to the Bristol back line.
Ball kicked long by Fabianski. We've nearly played our 4 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. Score lines over the last few meetings between these two have been a little binary, and this one's going to finish that way as well, unless they can make the most of this little attack. It's cut out by Ward-Prowse. It's loose inside the centre circle. Emerson wants to try and conjure something. It's forward to Souček. They need a Declan Rice moment from that Kidderminster Harriers game. We've played our 4 minutes of added time. West Ham coming forward. Not anymore, they're not. Bristol City of the Championship beat West Ham United for the first time since the 70s and dumped David Moyes' top 6 Premier League big boys out of the FA Cup. It's another embarrassing exit for West Ham and a big scalp for Bristol City, for whom Tommy Conway and latterly Max O'Leary will now always be the one that brought the hammers down. They earned the Robinson place in round 4 here against either Blackpool or Nottingham Forest. A goal after 3 minutes, a terrific performance, and a big moment when Saeed Benrahma was sent off for kicking out at Joe Williams. But West Ham United never showed enough in attack, and when the moment came early in the game, Tommy Conway certainly did. 21 years of age. He hardly saw much of the ball in the game against Preston at the weekend, but twice against West Ham, once down at the London Stadium, and here tonight at Ashton Gate, he has come up with a supreme finish that has been the defining moment of the tie, and it's Bristol City who go through to round 4 of the FA Cup after beating West Ham United by a goal to 0.
Well, more reflections to come on Talksport from Stuart Pearce.